where you can find the most dreams that have never been attained or materialized.
Where?
It's the cemetery. Because people die with their dreams in their hearts and their heads. Be
Do
successful.
you have a formula that you can share with our listeners?
You have to have thick skin because people will talk. Absolutely. And people will celebrate your failures. A big deal. So what advice do I have for these women is that first you gotta visualize it.
I've never done a vision board.
Don't be embarrassed.
And it's all
a lot of people.
It's all your fault.
My fault.
Hey there, Montreal. Welcome to Tina's Table Talk. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Tina Calogrias, host of Yaya's Kitchen, and Tina's Table Talk was a segment of that show. On that show, I got to meet some fascinating people. I mean, from celebrity chefs to stay-at-home moms, and their stories really inspired me and helped me learn things about myself. And that is our mission and our goal here. We're hoping that the guests that we bring on our show will help inspire you and maybe teach you something about yourself that you might want to, be a better version of. As my first guest in this format, you all know her as Madeleine Kojakian.
Kojakian.
Okay, we have to do that again.
It's okay.
Kojakian?
Yeah.
Okay, Kojakian.
Yes.
I should have,
It's okay.
but I think I...
But it's because
I think I have dyslexia.
no, it's the same. It's.
I put the A, Kojakian.
Yes, It's perfect.
Yeah.
Kojakian.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kojakian. But you all know her as, everyone knows you as Maddy K. I even call you, hey, Maddy K, and you laughed once. You're like, Tina, it's just Maddy. The way you do. Yeah.
You can call me just Maddy.
I just want to say, first off, how grateful I am that you're on this show, and I'm really, really appreciate it.
Oh,
I mean, I love you.
Thank
and
you.
I admire you.
You're so sweet. Thank
I
you.
do. I do. I admire you, and you inspire me. And not just me. I know a lot of women admire you, and I know you inspire a lot of women. And but before I get there, I want to start off with congratulations. 22 years.
Yes.
Of wedding and event planning.
That's right.
I mean...
Right. Yes. Oh my God, you just aged me.
No, 22 is nothing.
Oh my God, 22. Yes, I am so grateful. First of all, thank you for having me.
Oh.
Honestly, thank you. And you as well inspire me as well because I've known you for a very long time. And I know the pivotal moments in your life since I've known you and how you've pushed yourself and you've evolved and you've pivoted and pivoted and pivoted over and over again. It's inspiring.
Oh.
So don't ever underestimate that, really.
Thank you. You're so sweet. It really means a lot coming from you.
Of course.
You look up to someone and then they tell you like, thank you.
But it just shows to you that sometimes we're just so busy in our own bubble doing what we love to do and dealing with life without necessarily realizing the impact we're having on others that are watching you from far away, right?
Yeah.
So everybody has the ability to inspire and impact other people. A lot of times they don't know that they're doing it, and sometimes they do. But regardless, it's a gift given to everybody. So thank you for doing all that you do, because I'm sure you also, in your turn, have inspired a lot of people in your own community. Not only people that I know, but in your own community. So congrats.
Thank you so much.
On all of that, and congrats on this format.
Yeah,
I love it.
I couldn't have said it better, though. Like, you really nailed it. We're still trying to find our groove here on our show, like this format.
Yes.
But your perspective, and that's what it's about. It's about like thriving with our community. And like you said, we inspire one another without even knowing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes, and again, I don't remember which author it was that wrote where, you can get inspired and your life could be impacted by one encounter or one word that you hear, So we all have, I think it was Robin Sharma, and it was Lead Without a Title. Okay. Basically, the titles mean nothing because we're all human and we all have that ability to lead and touch somebody's life when we least expect it. And a lot of times we don't know that we're doing it. So it's beautiful that you're doing this, because I'm sure you're going to touch a lot of lives.
You know what? That was my goal. Like, I wanted to give back in a way.
Yeah.
The way I was touched by my guests on my show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, how can we get more of that?
Yeah.
So why don't we just keep on doing more of this?
Absolutely. And it's
Right?
authentic conversations, being honest with one another, having in a positive environment, having these conversations that allow for people to get to know individuals in a much more deeper level and more intimately, where it's one thing to know Maddy K. Yes, I know Maddy K. Yeah, she's been doing weddings and events, but it stops at that.
Yeah.
But there's more behind it, and that's the reality, is that we have to start allowing and opening up, like, what's behind a brand, what's behind a name, what's behind the person that you follow on Instagram that you love so much. It's not only what you see, there's so much more. And what can I learn from them?
Thank you, God, for sending me Maddy K. I said this, I don't know if it's been 8 years, but it's been a while. I said this when I met you 8 years ago, and I'm saying it again today, because that's exactly it. Peeling the layers and getting to know because you have an image, okay? And they don't know the person behind. So, when you ask me, what's your goal? That's my goal.
Yes.
To peel the layers back. And you know what? Having said that, you help a lot of women shine, and you started, I want to congratulate you on Casa Evechia. Please correct me.
Thank you.
With the pronunciation.
Well, you're probably doing it better than I am, because it's a Greek word, right?
It's a Greek word, but still, like Casa Evechia, it's a women's club here in Montreal.
Yes.
You took it, wrapped it up in a beautiful bowl, like you do most of your stuff. You do beautiful work.
Thank you.
And you gifted this to us here in Montreal.
Thank you.
And, you've been doing it for a while in its own way, but you found a brick and mortar, like a home for it.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
I'm so happy for you that you realized that dream, because you and I, like, we know each other.
Yes.
And I know the whole,
it's been in my head for many, many years.
Yes. And
sometimes you don't see it, and it's evolved, obviously.
In your head.
In my head, it's evolved. The people I thought I was going to do it with didn't work out. Then we went, and then there was other people that I thought I was going to do it. At the end of the day, you end up, like, projects happen, and you end up partnering up with people that you least expect. In this case, Casa Evechia is... And my partner is Gracie, who you know.
Yeah.
She's been with me. She's been working for Maddy K for almost 7 years now. So when the opportunity came around, and she actually stepped up and said, I'd be interested in something like this. Would you consider me as a partner? And I told her, of course I would. Who better than you? I know you intimately.
I wasn't surprised at all. She's been your partner for years.
Yes, absolutely. She's amazing. I've trained her. She's actually better than I am, I think, in everything that we do. And it just shows you that life, it evolves, and it's not one way. It's really up and down. And sometimes you're going towards something, imagining and envisioning something, but then God has better plans for you.
Yeah, something completely different happens.
Absolutely.
And life is full of surprises.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it interesting.
Yes. And it's timing as well, right?
Timing. And you said something, it was in your head. There's a difference between a dream and a goal.
Yes.
You know what you do that I love? You turn your dreams into goals, and you realize them. You make them come alive.
I try.
But you do. That's the inspiration.
Thank
Where
you.
the admiration comes in.
Thank you.
Not just for me, but a lot of women in the city, like,
Thank you.
all of the city.
Thank you.
So, and a dream that you don't turn into a goal, she said, is something that's trapped in your soul, And it
Yes.
sounded like such a sad thing.
Yes.
To not make it come to life.
Again, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I read a lot of books. So I don't remember who said this, but it was a very sad statement, in my opinion, was, where you can find the most dreams that have never been attained or materialized?
Where?
It's the cemetery. Because people die with their dreams in their hearts, in their heads, in their minds, in their souls, because we're all born with that, right? The difference is some people make it happen, and some people die with their dreams. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be that person.
I just got goosebumps when you said that, because today, driving here myself, I heard exactly that. There's a woman who goes to the terminally ill and the
Yes.
people that are dying, like you said, and she asks them what their regrets were. And she has a book out, and I completely forgot, but what it's called now. But they voice their regrets of what they didn't get to do. So you have to be yourself, and you have to make your dreams come true.
Yes.
So that's why you're the perfect example of it. You know.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
hoping that we can translate that to our listeners.
Absolutely.
So tell me, how do you feel that your dream came true? And the name, tell us a little bit about the name. Did Gracie inspire, and what does it mean? I know it means something.
So casa is obviously home,
Yeah.
and evexia is wellness. And more nowadays, wellness, it's a very commonly used name. When you say wellness, people are thinking it is self-care, health, wellness, everything to do with, it's a new term, everything to do with feeling good and taking care of your body, eating better, et cetera, et cetera. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to open up a home where mind, body, and soul are allowed to align. And some of the most important pillars for women and for wellness, mental health, happiness, fulfillment is relationships. And it's friendships. Friendship is a huge thing, especially as we get older. You start realizing, and we slowly lose our friends throughout the 20s and the 30s, and because life happens, right?
Yeah.
And we're busy. We get married. We have kids. We get promoted. Our focus is on growth and the now. And slowly you lose the friends. The core stay. However, after a certain point, you get to a point in your life where you value those friendships and you want to open yourself up to new friendships because you as a person have grown, have evolved, have changed, and your high school friend might not necessarily be the best friendship that you want to hold on to anymore because maybe you guys have different lives, or you've spread and she's changed in a different way, you've changed in a different way. So the space is really a women's haven where you glow. So you're taking care of the outside. There's workshops and things that we do. There's yoga classes, makeup workshops, everything to do with how you feel, allowing you to glow, but also to grow. So to learn, to, be curious, and to all along build a community of women that are inspiring you, empowering you, and just there to have fun with you.
Yeah, like you said, we thrive in community.
Yes.
And that's our
Yes.
logo here, thriving in community.
Absolutely.
And you said something else about friendships. As adults, once you've lost those friends from school,
Yes.
as adults, it's very difficult to make friends.
Or to meet, and forget even making friends. It's
To meet.
to have the opportunity to meet people.
To opportunity to meet,
Yes.
because like you said, you're in your home with your family or your work, homework.
Yes.
How much do we really socialize? So it's a women's club, but it's a social club too.
Absolutely.
We make friendships. I miss you guys, and I miss you guys, but I moved 6 months ago. You see, life happens.
Life happens.
You move.
Yes.
You renovate.
Yes.
You start new projects. Your children, your husband starts new projects. I miss that. I haven't seen you guys in 6 months.
We miss you.
Yeah,
but you're in a different season in your life, and that's okay.
No,
right?
but I'm coming back.
Yes.
I love all the women there. And it reminds me of a time, just to go back, when at a bad time. I remember back then in the pandemic.
Yes.
You started the Maddy K Circle then.
Yes, I did.
When
It was 2020. I will never forget.
Do you believe it?
Yeah, I can't believe it's already been 5 years.
I can't believe it. And I got that call, and it's like, she's starting a Maddy K Circle. You have to. From who?
I do.
You have to. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm too shy. You have to just get on. You know who she is.
Yes, I do.
Our common friend.
Yes, we love her.
We love
so
her.
Much. Angie's amazing.
Yeah.
But she's a girl's girl. She's
Yeah.
a supporter. She finds something that she loves. She wants everybody on board.
Yeah.
She's actually doing a wellness workshop
Yeah.
with her trainer.
Yes.
At Casa Avexia.
Yeah. And Casa Vexia. You guys
yeah.
are collaborating?
She's doing it in the West Island as well as in her place in Laval.
Oh, at the same, yeah. Okay, okay.
Because she wants to also, obviously, the West Island is a different crowd. And
Absolutely.
she goes, Maddy, we want to be able to bring it there as well. And she's going to be talking about wellness for moms that are having a hard time with their kids, that are not able to feed their kids healthy foods or deal with addiction that kids have, food addictions and things like that. So it's amazing what she's doing. And I'm there to support her. And she's there to support you and all that you do. And she's such a girl's girl, and she's a perfect example of what we are trying to build collectively.
Yeah.
Right?
She's a good egg, like they say.
Yes.
A good soul.
Yes.
You know?
So your success does not take away from her success, and my success does not take away from her success, in the sense that, what we need to communicate more and more is that everybody can find fulfillment and their own niche and their own success. There's no limit to your growth and to your ambition, but to also your success, because you were born with greatness. We all were.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they say
God
that.
gave us that.
Yeah, that's what they say. They say that we do have it all inside of
Yes.
us. That's the part of our soul that we all have, that light that we
Yes.
say that we all have inside of us.
Yes.
What do you have to say to, these women that may not have the confidence or to go out there and get their dream like you do, right?
Yes.
And make that dream a goal and then make it into a reality. What is it, do you think that, and I know that your club offers that.
Yes.
It offers us that confidence.
Yes.
Somehow in a group, listening to the other women's stories, we feel more connected and we feel less afraid.
Yes.
We're like,
Yes. So the thing is...
So what advice do you have for these women?
When you say these women don't have the confidence, I think it goes a bit deeper. I don't think it's the confidence. I think it's the fear of failure.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it goes a step further, is why are they scared of failing? At the end of the day, if you really dig, it's because they're scared of what people think of them.
Yeah.
And they care about people's opinions. And that's the number one obstacle that allows for people to stop to follow their dreams. And it's sad to say, you're stopping the life that's out there for you, the potential that you have, because you're worried about what your friends or your neighbors might think of you. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Is it really worth it? And trust me, it's you have to have thick skin, because people will talk. Yeah. Absolutely. And people will celebrate your failures. A big deal. Yeah. A big deal. I actually celebrate my own failures, because the more I fail, the closer I am to winning. So not everything you do is going to be a huge success. And knowing that and completely disconnecting yourself from the outcome is amazing. Because you're like, you know what? I don't care what the outcome is, whether it's successful or whether it's failing. Regardless, I'm going to do it. Because when I get to that point where I look back and say, okay, this was a failure, guess what? At least it's done. Yeah. It will never, ever be in my head again, because I've learned. And all of the lessons I learned with that failure will be applied to the new project that will result to maybe a huge success. Yeah. So what advice do I have for these women is that, A, start training yourself not to care. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, when you're at night alone, whether you're scrolling online or whether you're thinking and you have this lump in your chest or that sadness, that me too, I want. Well, stop that thinking and pursue it. Don't allow them to stop you from those big dreams and taking action. And the second advice I have is who you surround yourself with is contagious, right? Yeah. And I always say this to my daughter, because my daughter is 12. So every morning, when I'm making breakfast and we open a strawberry box and there's one strawberry that's like, ruined. And she tells me, Mama, don't waste your time opening the strawberry, because you see it's ruined. So it means they're all ruined. Yeah. I go, exactly. And I tell her this, I make it a lesson. Yeah. I go, exactly. I go, if you put yourself in an environment with one rotten strawberry, that rotten strawberry is gonna ruin everybody else in that same environment. Okay. I go, so be selective of your friends, be selective of who you surround yourself with, and allow yourself to put yourself in those strawberry boxes that are delicious and juicy and growing and shining on their own. Because at the end of the day, every single strawberry is delicious, right?
Yeah.
So same thing with women is like find a way to go in and support others. Be the friend that you're craving and you really your soul is looking for. Be that friend to others, and you'd be surprised how the universe, like it's you're gonna attract that back. So surround yourself with dreamers and doers rather than people that are busy pointing and laughing at others for doing and dreaming.
Very well said. And do you attribute, so you're saying that you attribute, your success to hanging around with other successful people.
Other successful people, but also
And it rubs off in a way.
It rubs off, but also other women that, I mean, success is relative, right?
Yeah.
Success for you is different than success for me, and success is different. So it depends. We can have a group of 10 women sitting around this table and we ask them what success is. I guarantee you everyone's success definition will be different.
100%.
Right? So, yes, successful women, but also women that are following their passion, are following their dreams. It could be as simple as I want to be the best mom ever, so I'm putting myself out there so I can have an amazing support group of women, amazing friends that make me so happy and so fulfilled that when I'm home, I'm the positive life and the positive light around my children and my husband or my partner, when I'm cooking or I'm learning how to cook. So there's many layers, but yes, put yourself out there in a community of women that are going to teach you something new or going to bring a new perspective that you never thought about.
And that's what Casa Vecchia is offering, obviously.
Yes.
A different group of women.
Yes.
From different walks of life, from different...
And we want to, we create different workshops. Like it could be a makeup workshop on how you can do your own makeup and feel confident and feel beautiful. And it could also be a workshop on how you can invest in the stock market because nobody has ever taught you that. Or how you can manage money and how, your parents never talked to you about money and, you have no clue about money. Well, don't be shy about that. There is over 90% of women are shy to talk about money because they don't know.
Of course.
Right?
And at this point, let's not forget to thank our sponsors. Without them, this show would not be possible. Promark, Arahova, and Yaya's Kitchen. Tell me, how do you balance all this? Because, Casa Vecchia is just one part, right?
Yes.
Then there's the Maddy K that does the weddings and the event planning.
Yes.
You do the Grand Prix.
Yes.
You have a charity that you just finished your toy drive.
Le Neuvième also was
launched.
Le
Neuvième.
Was launched in April.
I forgot.
So that was a big project, but that was a project. I mean, I'm
another
a
project
partner.
you spoke about and made it come true. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was definitely a growth journey, and in that project, my interactions and I worked a lot with men. Obviously, a lot of my partners are all men in that project, but it just brings you just to say that every single project gives you a toolkit of lessons and tools and learnings that you could bring with you, that nobody can ever take that away from you and bring with you to the next project. So how do I do it? To answer your question is I am very organized, obviously, because I organize events. So I am very mindful and intentional with my time. Okay. People think I'm out all the time, but actually I'm always home with my kids. Every single morning, for as long as I can remember, I was the person giving breakfast for my kids and waving goodbye. So mom was always there. And then when they come back from school, mom is still there.
That's nice.
So I'm always there. And it was a priority for me.
You're fortunate too.
Yes, absolutely. That was a priority for me. Obviously, with my job comes no downtime. So I'm always on. I'm always working. I have my office at home. So, I'm always working. My kids see that. And they get inspired by that too. I've raised, I think, monster entrepreneurs because they're so entrepreneurial.
I think you have. I see your son. He DJs.
My son is DJing. He's actually launching an app right now that honestly, I think it could be the next Airbnb or Uber.
Yeah.
He's a genius, him and his friend, his partner.
Good.
And I'm so impressed by them.
Well,
and
it's
by,
genetic. It's genetic.
you know what? It's examples, I think. It's what we do.
You're right.
What we do, they see, right? So my daughter feels a bit left out now because my husband has his own thing. I have my own thing. George has his own thing. So the other day she came with her little laptop. She has a laptop like that. She comes to the island. I was making food.
Yeah.
She opens her laptop. She goes, Mama. Yeah. So I'm starting a drop shipping company. I couldn't stop laughing.
I don't even know what a drop shipping company is.
So drop shipping is like, for example, I go, what kind of products are you going to sell?
Amazon.
So she wants to sell hoodies and she wants to sell trinkets. But basically what it is you don't buy inventory and you don't hold it. Listen, she's only 13. She just turned 13. So she wants to drop ship. So you work with Amazon or there's other companies that drop ship. Yeah. So she creates the website, which she's already branded and she's starting to. Yeah. I'm telling you, next level. I'm impressed.
So they do learn by example.
They do. And our children, you know how they say always the new generation is better than the older one. Yeah. And that's an indication that your family is doing well, generationally. Yeah. Always the new generation is going to be much better than the one. So my hope is my kids will be much better than we are, of course. Yeah. And that's any parent's wish and hope.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So it does seem like you're always out. And it
looks like that, eh?
It always, and it's this image, that. Dude, I'm going to ask you a personal question.
Go for it.
You're known as an influencer.
I don't like that answer. I don't like that word.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you feel,
yeah,
about that word and about it, influencer? I mean, it means so many things, but how do you feel about that word?
So I don't like that word, and I'll tell you why. Because people make it sound like it's a new word. It's not.
No.
Socialites existed. I mean, you can look back in the 50s and 60s. There were the best socialites and top socialites in New York City that were at every party, at every brunch, at every high tea, and they would get invited to the best dinner parties, and there were socialites. Yeah. And these socialites would come and tell you, did you hear about the new store that opened up? And so it has her own designs. I mean, look at Chanel. How do you think Chanel started? I mean, we've all watched the movie. If we haven't, go watch it. Yeah. It was the talking of the socialites. Oh, I got this from this lady, Chanel, et cetera, and word of mouth. So now, fast forward to the new technology and, what's happening. So somehow it has transferred into online. And now influencers that are online with millions of followers, depending on which influencer you're looking at, they do exactly that. They're socialites. So what I have to say about that is that the people, and it's a bit sensitive because there are influencers. In my situation, I don't like to consider myself influencer because I don't make a living out of being present on social media. My presence on Instagram has been because I just wanted to, back then, bring people along for the ride when I was doing the behind the scenes of my events. And that's how it piqued interest. Slowly, people started sending me things and, I started sharing, and we all did that, especially during COVID when I went from being so busy and every weekend there's an event, every day there's a hustle happening to stillness, which I wasn't used to. For me, it was a blessing in disguise because I got to spend the most amazing, because the event industry stopped for 2 years, 2 summers. The 2020 and 2021, they opened it, but it was like 50. It was a joke compared to the events that we were doing before. So during those 2 years, I got to be a mom. Yeah. And it was the most beautiful thing ever. And yes, I know businesses were lost. I know lives were lost. I know it was a sad time. The economy hurt. I know that. But I'm the type of person who always looks for the silver lining. And for me, my silver lining was to be able to be at home with my kids, and they were home too because they didn't go to school, and it just created such a strong bond between us.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But you spoke about tools, right?
Yes.
So Instagram, or I don't know now,
It's a tool.
TikTok or
Yes.
Facebook, it's a tool.
Yes.
And we all have that ability to have a voice,
Absolutely.
and we have a voice, and we can be in everyone's home.
Yes.
Through that.
Yes. So the way I look at it is years ago, when you had a company or you had a brand, where would you advertise it? When TV came out, TV was the hottest thing. Everybody wanted to be on TV. Radio, same thing. Magazines, the hottest thing. Billboards. So it's not different. Instagram is relatively new. Social media is new. So now marketing, executives, marketing departments are starting to give more attention and a bigger piece of the budget to social media and online presence. And rightfully so, because the eyeballs are there, because you're able to reach a larger audience with the same amount of dollars. Yeah. You're able to grow internationally, especially if you're a big international brand, depending on your marketing strategy and your target audience. But basically, it is also a tool. So it's not the tool, it's just another tool. Yeah. So you can choose which tool is best for you. 100%. And you can decide, okay, I'm going to focus only on that, or I'm going to diversify, depending on what the objective of your social media platform is.
Yeah. And do you believe that there's a formula? Because, I was listening to Mel Robbins the other day, and she's like, I love her, and she's like, there's a formula
for what?
For being successful on these platforms. Is it be more vulnerable? That voice that I heard in my living room when I came to your retreat.
Yes.
You popped up on my feed. And I don't know if it was through an ad or something, but somehow Maddy K was in front of me. Her voice was in my living room telling me to come to the retreat.
Be
Do
successful.
you have a formula that you can share with our listeners?
Listen, in anything that you do, you first need to define what the objective is. Yeah. For me, I'm an entrepreneur. And I also believe in diversifying my business. So my intention is to grow and have multiple different eggs in my basket, right? So that what happened during COVID will never happen again for me. I diversify so that if the event industry dies, something happens, well, it's okay. I have other things happening. So, invest in local businesses, grow my community, and you need to know what your objective is. So for me, my objective is to make money, so in turn I can invest and buy businesses and be able to 10 years from now have a passive income where I have 10 to 15 small businesses. My intention is not to have the next Facebook or the next Coca-Cola. My intention is to have small community businesses that generate good money, and between 10 to 15, and they're running on their own, and that's it. I'm making my passive income. So now coming to online, well, if my objective is to make money from social media, that's not my intention. But if that was my intention, then for sure there's a formula to follow. Okay. There's consistency, there's quality of content, there's identifying who you're talking to, making sure that your voice is clear and well defined. And obviously the number of posts you do, the quality of your posts you do, the interactions you do, just like anything else, any other business.
Is that the formula you followed for your event planning, for instance?
So for my event planning, it happened.
Yeah, you were just using
it
behind
happened
the scenes.
Because social media was new back then. Okay. So I gathered people were just at the events, and they're like, who did this event? And next thing you know, they started following. Right now, it's so much harder to gather and grow on social media organically. Okay. Back then, it was easier when you were new and not a lot of voices out there. Yeah. It was much easier to attain the followers. So obviously, you do have to have a strategy. For me, my objective for my personal page is to inspire.
Yeah, and you do.
Thank you. to be authentic, to inspire. I like to talk about my faith. Some people discourage me from that, but the truth of the matter is faith is a big part of who I am.
Yeah.
So if I can't talk about and I can't be authentic and show the true me, then what am I doing? Faking it.
Yeah.
This is who I am, and I do love going out and I do love dining and wining and eating and all of that.
No, I meant it. I didn't mean it in a bad way. I meant it like because you're so busy. It seems like you're always,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
No.
it looks like that, absolutely,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I do have a social life, but a social life that's very active because of the business that I'm in.
Yeah, of
Right?
course. Yeah.
It's always an event, always you're invited, and then like you said, because of the influencer thing in Montreal, I also got invited to a lot of influencer events, but I'm very selective with what I say yes to now because it's time away from home, but also I'm very careful about energy. And I've learned about that in the last few years, and I'm very protective over it. So I don't just go anywhere.
You said you're religious, like spiritual, and like you believe in God, and
Yes.
that God has a plan for all of us, right?
Yes.
And we have to believe in that.
Yes.
At the same time, how do you feel? Because I know you and Angelia are doing a vision board thing, right?
Yes.
So my question is, manifestation. Do you
Yes.
believe in manifesting things?
Of course. So manifesting,
Yeah.
my word of the year, and I've been doing word of the year
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
It's
of
10
course,
years
of
now.
course, I know.
My word of the year is manifest. So
Oh,
it's
this year?
Yes,
20
this year,
Oh my God, look at-
2025.
Oh, what a good one. Yeah.
It's manifest. And do
Yeah.
I believe it? Absolutely, I believe it. Because it's very
How would you
simple.
define it? Like, what is manifesting,
So it's very simple. If you're not able to visualize,
Mm-hmm.
in other words, if you're not able to dream and see your dream, then how is it going to come true?
Agreed.
And I try to make it as simple as possible during, let's say, when I'm coaching, I'm doing my goal settings workshops, and I tell the ladies, I say it's very simple. For the actions to take place, you need a destination. Destination is your dream, your end. What are you working towards? So let's say you're traveling. Did you go anywhere over the holidays?
I did. I went to Italy. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you're going to Italy, right? So the actions you took to take you to Italy is very different than the actions you would have taken if you were going to Florida.
Right.
Right? So the bag you packed, the clothes you brought, in Florida you would have brought maybe bathing suits. Italy right now it's a bit chill. I'm sure you brought a spring or fall jacket,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. After the bag is packed, if you have pets at home, you got to figure out who's going to take care of your pets, your dog or your cat. And then you before even packing, you purchased your ticket to go to Italy.
Yeah.
Then you drive to the airport, but the time you drive to the airport is based on the flight you're taking, and the flight you take is based on your destination. All of these are little steps that would have never happened if you didn't decide, whenever you decided, that you were going to Italy, right? So same thing with your dreams. First, you got to visualize it. You got to dictate it or say it or write it. What do you want? So there's levels of manifestation. For example, there are some things that I would like to manifest this year, and I know I will.
Yeah.
I'm so confident
I know-
will.
I know you will.
because I've done it before.
Okay.
I've done it before. And it takes practice. You could say, oh my God, this person's going to call me now. Like the energy, this person. And next thing you know,
So you believe in that? Because I believe in that.
1,000%.
That feeling of,
Because it's
making
energy.
yeah, energy.
It's energy. So I manifest, but then also you manifest the life that you want, right? So again, if you can't visualize, you have you don't know what actions to take. Nothing happens without taking small baby steps.
Now that you said visualize, and I know that you and our common dear friend Angelia, you're both doing vision boards.
Yes,
Is a vision board, because honestly, I'm gonna confess something. I'm embarrassed.
go for it.
I've never I've never done a vision board.
Don't be
And
embarrassed.
it's all
There's a lot of people.
it's all your fault.
My fault.
At the, At the retreat, we
Yeah.
were supposed to do vision board.
Yeah. What happened?
I remember we were so deep into conversation
Yes.
that you're like, can we take a vote? Who wants to do the vision board and who doesn't? And everybody voted, no, let's keep talking.
Yes.
Right? Because we love to talk.
Yes.
We love to connect.
Yes. Yes.
So we never did it. And I haven't done it since then.
Oh my God.
So, Angelia, I know you're doing one at Casa Evex.
Yes,
yeah?
I
And I
am.
know Angelia's doing one that's
Yes.
fun to do.
Yes.
So I'm coming to both, you know? Do I need to? But is a vision board directly connected to manifesting in a way?
So yes. So here's the thing. The beauty of vision board, and I did that with my daughter 2 years ago. I do it every year, and this year I made my son and my husband do it too.
Really?
I had to force them. I go, you're gonna sit and we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
Because it's an opportunity for you,
to put that
like
vision?
especially men. Men, they become just automatic. They're on autopilot, right?
yeah.
Next, but never slowing down and being still to think. So I wanted to teach my son. I said, listen, you have big dreams, but if those big dreams, you're not taking the time to actually envision them. So let's start. It could be materialistic. What car do you want? It could be everything. It could be anything, but it could also be words. Like, for example, my daughter cut out a word saying more confident because she wants to be a more confident soccer player because she plays soccer and she does really well. But, it clicks something in your head. And I told her, you need to put it in a place that you see your vision board every day, because you'd be surprised. It's like out of mind, out of sight, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's like anything else in life. So when you start seeing this vision board in front of you every single day, your mind, and this is proven, it's not
I know.
something, it's actually
called encoding. Yeah.
it could be. I don't know what the terminology is because my memory sucks.
That's
but
okay. I just heard it. That's why I'm using it. I'm using it.
But it is scientifically proven.
Yes, 100%.
That it triggers something, and it actually starts unconsciously starts your brain starting to strategize. And how can they make that happen?
Yeah. Can I tell you how it works? Like, I just heard it recently. So let's say you want to buy a Bronco or a car or a Ferrari, right? Or whatever.
Whatever.
You start seeing them.
Yes.
And when you want a specific color, you start seeing the ones in the specific color.
Yes.
So that's what happens.
Yes.
So you start, I guess the vision board works like that. If you have it in your room somewhere.
You're able to see it. You're able to envision it. And it becomes so part of your life that sometimes you're like, did it really happen or not yet? And it's funny because I was telling, I was at a family dinner, and my uncle's in town from Dubai, and we're chit-chatting, and he brought something to my memory that I had completely forgotten. And he goes, do you remember what you used to call yourself when we were in high school? And I go, no, I don't remember. Like, because you used to write and call yourself Maddy the Great, and you used to make your friends call you that.
Oh my God.
And I had completely, and I know I'm thinking right now, and I'm mortified that I would do that because I'm so embarrassed that I would force my friends to call me that. And one of my friends even gifted me, again, I had forgotten, a Maddy the Great necklace. She goes, you used to go around telling people, Maddy the Great, signing your...
Yeah.
And I go, I forgot
like
about
Alexander
that.
the Great.
Yeah, like
Maddy the
imagine
Great.
Maddy the Great. Who the hell do you think you are,
Yeah.
And my uncle said, you were so confident in yourself that you were going to be somebody great one day, that you would say it like you were it.
So you manifested it.
So, well, I don't want to say I'm great, but I'm great for me.
Great,
as in my.
But great for a for a
child, for a girl,
teenager,
for a teenager,
right?
Yeah.
And meaning achieving greatness.
And
okay?
and for me, I have because I love my life, right? Like I said, success is so different for everybody. But if I have to go back to that little girl and say, so Maddy the Great, did you? And I for sure say yes. I'm so proud of you,
well,
Maddy.
That's a very common question, right? Like, what would you tell your
Yes.
younger self,
Yes.
right? So you've
Yes.
said you just answered that, yeah.
And it's beautiful. And to that also, years ago we talked about, I started my business 22 years ago. It was in 2003, but I had it was a side hustle, right? I had a career. I was doing really well. I was working for an interactive marketing agency, and I was
Yeah.
doing really well there, actually. But when this happened, and I started getting into wedding planning, which was a project that I did for a graduate e-commerce course that I was e-commerce graduate study that I was doing with my husband at the time, and I said, "Oh, you know what? I'm noticing that there's not enough wedding planners. I'm going to do wedding planning, all of that." So I launched a website for the project, but next thing you know, people started calling me, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm not one to say no to business."
Yeah.
Even if I don't know it, I will figure it out.
Yeah.
This is one thing that I'm so like, you don't say no to business,
No.
because with every opportunity comes something amazing. So I said, yeah, sure. And I learned and I learned and I learned. But in the beginning few years of Maddy K weddings and Maddy K events, I would go around, I would introduce myself and say, yes, my name is Maddy K. I'm the best wedding planner in town. And I'm like, what was I thinking? I'm the biggest wedding planner in town. And that's how I would introduce myself to vendor owners, to photographers, to people that didn't know me, until it reached a point that the people would say, yeah, I think I've heard of you. When in reality, they probably haven't heard of me. But my confidence
Yeah.
and me saying what I wanted to become,
But that's
I manifested
you
it, right?
manifested it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a form of
That's
manifesting.
what manifestation is.
Wow.
Believing,
Yeah.
seeing it, wanting it, and working for it. It's not going to come like this. It's not like kumbaya where you're sitting at home imagining and it's
Yeah,
going to show
yeah,
up.
yeah.
It's more than that. It's believing it, having the faith that it can happen to you, and do what you have to do,
And doing
planning
it.
to
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah. They say you got to put it down on paper.
Yes.
And put down the steps.
Yes.
Like the example of the
Yes.
trip, like you said.
Yes.
And then you go.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So nothing's gonna happen without you planning it, even as simple as your summer vacations.
100%.
So I take the time in January to plan my vacations now because I want to be intentional with my time. We're not gonna be living here for long, so I'm not going to just wing it.
No, you're right.
I'm going to plan and I'm going to be intentional. This is where we're staying. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, we should be
Because
planning. We plan our summer
yes,
vacations. We plan our spring
yes,
breaks.
yes.
That's-
Your weekends away, all of that.
I want to ask you another question.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself a coach? And have you done coaching?
I have done coaching.
And
yeah.
how do you feel about coaching? Like, I mean,
I have
everybody.
done coaching.
It's a new.
I have
term,
done
right,
coaching, but
now?
I don't wanna use the term coaching because I don't have a certification. I haven't studied coaching, but I have a lot of experience
Right.
and I can give you insights. I've done it. So depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So for example, if I'm talking to a woman that wants to launch a business or grow her business, absolutely I can help her.
Of course, because you've done it.
Yes, but if you're going to talk about trauma or emotional, I'm not qualified for anything like that. So
Right,
It depends on
Within
what kind of
Exactly. We're all coaches in a certain way.
Absolutely,
In our
absolutely.
in our field and
Yes.
I love talking to you
Thanks, Dina.
because I learned so much from you.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
And I love, listening to your wisdom because you've acquired a lot of wisdom,
Thank you.
through your
Thank
years, your 22 years in business. I don't know. I want to close with what do you think that the world needs to hear now, given with our, the climate of, we're like going into elections. We have
Yes.
the new president that's coming in. Women in
Yes.
politics. We usually don't talk, but
Yes.
what do you think the world has to hear now, given the scary climate that we're in? Right, we might become the 51st state or
Yes.
something. Do you? Yeah, would you consider politics? Like,
No.
how do you feel about?
Yeah, I'm very opinionated. Absolutely. I'm very opinionated about politics. I've learned not to share my opinion on politics because I've learned that it's such a sensitive subject that it does, rub off some people the wrong way. And unfortunately, adults, women, even men, are not have not been trained or have not been properly taught on how to handle emotions, and me included. So when things get heated, you get worked up, and there's a lot of emotions happening, and unfortunately, nobody has taught us how to handle those emotions and be able to converse in a respectful and politically correct way. So suddenly, what happens is you start boxing the person because of their political views or political thoughts, when in reality, it's everyone's right to have their own opinions and their own thoughts. There's no wrong or right. The truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, in my opinion, is we all want the same thing. Yeah. We all want happiness, peace. We all want all the children in the world to have a safe place to grow and prosper. And this world was created for that kind of loving, prosperous, amazing place that it is. So we want to be able to give love to one another, but we also want to receive love and acceptance. So I'm not a fan of this divisiveness and people starting to, take sides. It really bothers me because it just completely divides communities, divides households, divides friendships, divides a lot of things. However, to answer your question of what I think we need right now the most, God.
Oh,
We need God.
yeah.
We need God because I'm a Christian, so Jesus. Jesus was love. Jesus came, and some of his most important messages was love everyone, like love your neighbor like yourself.
Yeah. I love that.
Allow and accept people for who they are,
Yeah.
right? And he loved everyone, the poor and the rich. He didn't care. There's no division. He had Shabbat dinners where he had a prostitute sitting on his table.
Yeah.
He had a tax collector sitting at his table, and he had liars and cheaters.
Yeah.
What does that represent? That represents that nobody is perfect.
Yeah. No one's above anyone.
Nobody is
or
above
below
anyone. We're
No.
all sinners. Yeah. But there's one common denominator that pulls us together, and that's love.
Yeah.
You know?
What better way to end our conversation than on the note of love?
Yes.
Because I get to tell you that I love you.
Thank you, Tina. Me too.
I love
I
what
do.
you do.
Thank you.
I wish you continued success.
Thank
I
you.
wish you, love, joy, health.
Thank you.
In our new year.
Yes, that's the most important right now.
Of course,
being healthy.
yeah. And God bless you.
Thank you.
And your family.
And you as well. And your home and your beautiful home.
Yeah, thank you.
And this amazing new podcast.
It's going to be an adventure. I'm excited.
I think you're going to be so amazing at it.
Thank you.
And I'm so proud. And maybe nobody will understand, but you will understand when I say I'm so proud of the journey that you've been on, because I've seen it all.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I owe a lot of it to you. And God bringing you on my road, on my journey.
God uses people in the best way possible.
So may our first podcast and first show here with you, this interview, may it do the same for our listeners.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think it's a good place to stop and say to my listeners, thank you so much for pressing play and listening to us. And if you want to actually see us, you will, on our show and on our YouTube channel. So tune in next time for more love and inspiration. Till then, thanks again.